Bueno, ya nosotros estamos aquí, bajándonos del carro, listos ya para comenzar este día de Media Day de la Major League Soccer, listos para comenzar este Media Day de MLS aquí en el Camerino. Acompáñanos.
Bueno, 6:27 de la mañana. Cafecito listo. Bueno, listo, vamos. 6:32 de la mañana. Ojalá les pudiese mostrar el amanecer. Son las 6:32. Vamos rumbo al centro de convenciones de Miami Beach, donde se dará el Media Day para esta temporada 2025 de la MLS. Es nuestro primer Media Day. Es el primer Media Day del Camerino. Bueno, ahí van a estar jugadores, entrenadores, otros colegas, gente del medio, jefes de prensa. Básicamente un rock and roll mediático con el cual la MLS busca empujar su producto. Mucho se habla de probablemente el nivel de juego que tenga la MLS comparado con las 3-4 ligas europeas, donde evidentemente no se maneja el mismo ritmo, pero eso no quiere decir que la MLS no siga haciendo los honores para desarrollar su producto y llevarlo hasta ese punto.
Welcome to Major League Soccer in 2024.
This is a massive moment to have exceptional players playing in this country. But this league is a tough league.
Ready?
This is soccer. This is the life.
There's always someone better, faster, stronger. You just got to keep up.
Have a family. As you get older, it gets harder. Missing this time with him is valuable.
Kevin Sullivan, 14 years old.
I worry about him, but I think he's pretty grounded.
When you come from Barcelona, you always need to prove that you come from Barcelona.
Ricky Pooch. Oh, it's got in!
I try to teach them, we fail, but because of those failures, you're gonna win.
My journey is nothing short of incredible.
My objective is to win trophies, and I know it's expected of us.
All right, let's go.
What's up, boss?
1, 2, 3.
Are you looking for playoff? Are you looking for the championship? What are your expectations?
The expectation is to do the best that we can do to perform better than we did the last season. I wasn't there, but I know that the team went to a phase where they were not winning as many games as they could have. I think is to basically, let's say, be more consistent with our performance and so, because we did it pretty well towards the end of the season, and I think if we kept it on the same level, we would have probably get even further. But the expectation is just to perform as better as we did last season.
Good morning. All right, David here from El Camerino. My question is, for sure you are one of the most experienced person in the room. What specifically can you say about MLS beside any other leagues, for example, based on your career?
It's a good question, and I think the structure of the league, the predictability and the functioning of the league, of how it works, is very stable compared to some other leagues. And I think the amount of growth that takes place makes MLS unique. You don't have leagues that are growing that much year over year, whether that's the quality on the field. You know, when I talked about the change in 2018, when I look around the league now, every team virtually has a way that they want to play. Every club has an identity. You know, the players we're able to attract is improving. The coaching is improving. So, you know, the academies, the structure in the academy is improving. So what I'd say is what makes MLS unique is the fact that although it's a very established league, it's still improving every year.
Now, going more personal, what's about to be next on the Greg Berhalter career? What's about to be next?
You know, I think this is a great opportunity. I said it when I got the job. You know, I see Chicago as a sleeping giant. I see it as a third biggest market in America. An owner that is really investing in the team to be successful, investing in the facilities, whether that's the training ground or potential stadium, investing in the roster. And, you know, for us, we're looking forward to trying to build a really solid club from top to bottom. And that's, you know, a great opportunity.
Hi, hello, Pat. My question is going to be, you have been talking about intensity, you know, and transitions, right? And of course, based on the Cincinnati last season, looks like you have been dealing really good with that. My question is going to be, based on the changes on the weather, right? How you feel specifically the weather is affecting the player performance every time you go out of your stadium, for example?
Yeah, the weather certainly impacts it because, as we've seen, once you get into the summer months, it's unrealistic to think that these players can play at the tempo that you expect with the heat and humidity. I know the calendar was mentioned as far as switching, and I think what that does is eliminate some of the more challenging months and just a drop in intensity, you know, across the league. So we're no different. We have to adapt to the climate, and yes, we'd love to be, you know, pressing and making teams uncomfortable. You'd love to be efficient in transitions if we think that's our strength, and I think it has been. But you also have to understand what the players are capable of in certain environments, and so we try to adjust in a good way where we don't, you know, alter too much, you know, how we play.
Thank you. Hi, hello, Pat. All right, so you have a large career, right? On the field, now outside the field.
A little bit large, but long.
It is a really long one. So my question is gonna be, now from this position, right, structure-wise, what kind of decision do you feel are, you know, game-changing outside the field? What's your approach on that?
In terms of what my role is?
Of course, definitely.
Okay, yeah. So, you know, my role, I think when I came to the club, we're very fortunate. We have an owner 3 years ago, Ted Siegel, that brought the club 3.5 years ago now. Fortunately, I think he was looking around to try to find someone who had experience in the role that I'm in. Fortunately for me, I don't think a lot of guys were there, but also the fact that I played in the club and I really wanted this job. I was really excited about the opportunity to work for Houston. I had a lot of attachment from, my daughter was born there. My wife loves the city. I love the city. We were excited to come back. So I'm digressing a little bit, but I'm trying to answer your question. I care a lot about the club, probably more so than most GMs in the league, presidents in the league. I think I've got this connection with the club. I played there for 5 years. You know, with Dominic Kinnear is our head coach. I've seen what he put into the club, so it means a lot to me. So for us, the biggest thing that was frustrating from the outside watching is the team wasn't successful. But the biggest problem we had was a culture shift. That's what we had to get through. And I think the first year that we spent, myself, Asher Mendelson, who was a technical director, the two of us spent the entire year really just trying to get our staffing and the players to change their mindsets and become saying, like, this isn't good enough where we're at, and how do we hold each other accountable to try to get better and do it in a respectful way, do it in a way where you know, we're not pointing fingers at each other, but we're in it together. And I think I think that's probably where I'm most proud of what we've done, as much as winning a trophy, qualified for the playoffs. But our culture at the club has completely shifted. We have wonderful people that work together, and we do work together, and we're all kind of moving forward to try to be successful and win trophies.
Jordan. All right, so sometimes we underestimate careers, right? You have more than 50 games with the national team, but we were looking for 2025 really challenging for Seattle Sounders. You're gonna play against Botafogo, you're gonna play against Atletico Madrid, you're gonna play against PSG, and of course you're gonna have a lot of challenging games on the MLS. Behind that, as a human being, how you handle that mentally?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of games, a lot of challenging games, a lot of, obviously we're so lucky to do what we do for a living, being professional athletes, living the dream, absolutely. But there's the stress that comes with that, and even more so in a congested schedule like this. So for me, what I've learned over the last couple of years that I've gotten better at is just really escaping the game when you're outside of training, when you're outside of games, when you're at home, really being intentional about being in the moment, spending time with your family. I've said this before, I've had a son, he's about 15 months, and I kind of said, for me, I think the last 2 seasons have been the best seasons of my career, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it's come since he's been born, because he puts a lot in perspective. And I come home from a game or training and didn't have the best day, and he runs up to you, and none of that matters. He doesn't care that I'm a soccer player, just his dad, and so he again puts so much in perspective, and I think mentally that helps a lot. So just really getting away from the game in different ways outside of training, outside of games has been really important. I think in a stressful year like this, that's even more important.
¿Cómo estás, Irving? Mucho gusto, Lucas Laustalé de El Camerino Podcast. Tengo 2 preguntas. La primera, convencerte de venir a San Diego, o cuáles fueron tus primeras impresiones, tus primeras palabras. Y lo otro vendría siendo, en esta conferencia que te toca jugar, que es la conferencia oeste, ¿qué tan cerca te ves de los playoffs con el equipo que acaba de arrancar en la franquicia?
Pues la verdad que me llamó mucho, como dije, el proyecto de Drive to Dream, el proyecto del club, el proyecto de todo eso en conjunto me llamó mucho. Eso fue lo que hice, una conexión muy importante hacia eso, y por eso decidí venir a San Diego. Después llegó Mikey, hablé con él y la verdad han sido pláticas muy bonitas, muy positivas y la verdad que muy agradables. Como lo he comentado, ya me gustaría ver al equipo frente a frente, al entrenador frente a frente, porque eso habla y se siente mejor, ¿no? Y por otra, ¿cuál era tu segunda pregunta? Perdón.
Teniendo la conferencia, estás jugando la conferencia oeste, que es bastante complicada con los otros 2 equipos de Los Ángeles, ¿cómo ves qué es lo que pueda cumplir San Diego?
Va a ser un poco difícil, ¿no? Porque se está formando el equipo, es la primera vez del equipo, hay que hacer muchas cosas, pero yo creo que es posible que, para mí, mi objetivo es pasar a los playoffs. Y puede ser que me vea un poco arrogante, pero pues a mí me gustaría ser campeón. Entonces hay que trabajar, va a ser muy difícil, hay que trabajar muchísimo, porque es nuevo club, nuevos compañeros, nuevos jugadores. Entonces hay que trabajar mucho. Mi objetivo es ese, pero bueno, sé que hay dificultades, pero voy a trabajar muy duro para lograrlo.
We'll take our final question from David. Please raise your hand. We can get the microphone to you.
Hi, hello, Jesse. Well, looking at your career is overcoming career, doing a wonderful job with the Red Bull franchise, then Leeds United, Europe. Now you're coaching Canada, and around the corner, you're hosting a World Cup. Looking at that specific point of view, how you feel taking a moment and analyzing that Canada is open arms immigration-wise? How immigration is actually helping and giving, a contribution, at least on your plan, and the short term and a long term for Canada team?
Yes. Well, look, what I've learned is they say that the U.S. is a melting pot, and they say in Canada that Canada is a mosaic. And if you look at our national team, you can see culturally that the makeup of the player pool is from many different backgrounds. And this is one of the things I love about our sport, is the multicultural aspect of what it means to be a team, a coach. And we've embraced that. in Canada, and we will continue to try to find ways to, whether it's dual nationals or players that are playing abroad that have Canadian connections, you know, along with making sure that the group that we have and the players that we incorporate fit with what we're trying to create. Like, this is one of the things that's been fun for me. I'm an American, right? And I've always been a big believer that national team coaches should be from that country, right? And I even said this in the interview process with the Canadian national team. I said, look, if you had a Canadian version of me, I would say hire him. Okay, but one of the things that I came with was you went through it, is some experiences at big experiences at clubs, leagues, opponents. And so I've tried to bring that to the Canadian national team and to the Canadian soccer scene as much as I possibly can, to share those experiences. But I've also gone on a journey of trying to really determine exactly what it means to be Canadian and what it is to be the Canadian national team and what it means to be the Canadian national team coach. And I've tried to make sure that I've been very open-minded, that I've honored the responsibility that I have, especially with the World Cup coming up, and to make sure in all ways that I'm not a polarizing figure, but I'm a uniting figure. And it helps that the team has done well, no doubt, but I hope that people also appreciate that in all ways I've tried to learn and understand how important it is to make sure that in every way that this team is a perfect reflection of what the country is. And to be fair, that has been a really enjoyable journey for me to be on. And I'm going to continue to try to get to the core of that.
Se habla mucho en redes sociales de Neymar. ¿Te gustaría juntar la MSN de nuevo? Quizás, como decías tú, buscando jugadores que estén a la altura de un torneo tan grande como va a ser este verano.
Bueno, obviamente que todo el mundo sabe lo que es Ney como jugador, lo que generamos nosotros en la época que estuvimos juntos. Hoy estamos en otra época, con mucha más edad que la que estábamos en ese momento, pero siempre te genera ilusión tener un jugador como él y por la calidad que te puede aportar al equipo. Después ya, como lo dijo él y todo el mundo lo va a decir, en el fútbol todo puede pasar, pero bueno, son expectativas, ilusiones que se pueden generar, que de ahí que se concreten es difícil y es muy complicado. Después, la verdad que muy bien, con muchísimas ganas de empezar una nueva temporada, de ir conociendo al cuerpo técnico, de agarrar ritmo, y bueno, y a medida que van pasando los años, el tiempo, uno va siendo consciente que se va cuidando en las vacaciones, no tiene mucho tiempo de vacaciones, a pesar que tuvimos mucho, te vas cuidando, te vas preparando más físicamente para poder pasarlo bien todo el año.
Hola Javier, Diego Macías Lole, ¿cómo estás? Te quiero hacer una consulta. Muchos años compartiendo con Leo vestuarios, fútbol, en selección, en Barcelona. ¿Cómo te imaginás esta nueva relación, este cambio de rol en el día a día? Y por otro lado, preguntarte cómo vas viendo la conformación del nuevo equipo.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? No, bueno, la verdad que lo tomamos de manera natural. No, obviamente sabiendo que cada uno tiene su rol, pero no soy de los que están intentando forzar las cosas o sobre todo demostrar algo que no hay que demostrar. Al final, no solamente mi relación con Leo, sino también la relación que puedo tener con Luis, con Jordi, con Busi. Hemos vivido cosas extraordinarias durante muchísimo tiempo y eso nada lo va a cambiar. Sí, obviamente tener en claro que tanto yo como ellos tenemos objetivos en común, trataremos de ayudarnos mutuamente para poder conseguir esos objetivos. Y a partir de eso, después, nuestra relación, de lo que tenga que ver fuera del club, seguirá siendo la misma. No, en ese sentido no me gusta mezclar las cosas. Y en cuanto a la conformación del plantel, bueno, hemos tenido, como ya muchos saben, varias bajas por préstamos que han terminado, por algunas ventas, por inclusive gente que no hemos podido renovar, Y nada, estamos intentando terminar de cerrar algunas incorporaciones. Tengo fe y tengo, te diría, casi la certeza de que en estos días van a estar terminando de cerrarse algunos refuerzos que hemos pedido, y a partir de eso empezar a darle forma al plantel para poder iniciar la pretemporada.
Bien, amigos del Camerino, esto fue nuestra cobertura especial del Media Day de la MLS. Estén muy pendientes de todas las sorpresas que vienen en el Camerino en las próximas semanas. Movimientos, cositas interesantes, no se lo vayan a perder. Esto es el Camerino. Nos despedimos. Hasta la próxima oportunidad.